Hello everybody! Welcome to another inconsistent bookworm. Sorry I keep doing the hello everybody. I really don't mean to. It's kind of my thing now. But yeah, I'm actually back with another manga review. Of course, as you can read below, if it's talking about Gundam Wing. Just let y'all know, if you're wanting an update about Daughter of Smoke and Bone, my friend who recommended it to me, yes, they're 100% right. It's really damn good. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I'm kind of like it's not really taking my time with it, but I'm really just absorbing it into me. Really digging into a lot more of what is going on, because it is insanely intriguing so far, and I'm like, ooh. But I have, because of actually getting down and buying some new mangas recently, and as you've seen me doing a few more manga reviews and actually reading them, I've been picking up newer mangas, especially newer to me. It helps that Megan and me have been going to nearby, or not really nearby, they're still miles away, bookstores, and I've actually been able to get newer mangas. More importantly, I've been able to get this little bad boy. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Endless Waltz Glory of the Losers. Rolls right off the tongue. Something you could just say to everybody, instantly, like, I know exactly what you are speaking of. To give you all a brief history, though, I think I've talked about this before. I am actually a massive Mobile Suit Gundam fan. And, of course, Gundam Wing, like anybody here in America, especially born in the 90s, that is how I was introduced to Mobile Suit Gundam. I still would say that I am, if I can speak to the Gundam fans, I am more of a Gundam Wing fan than I am a Universal Century fan, though I still concede that Universal Century is really, really damn good. There's not a whole lot of massive problems with the Universal Century from what I have seen of it. It's not such as like Gundam Seed, where it's one of those, it was a fine enough first anime, though it felt like a really just big retread of the original story up to a point. And speaking of the original story, the original Universal Century story, Mobile Suit Gundam, but it never, what it added was nothing interesting, and then Destiny was really, really bad. Eventually I will, if I get into being able to actually review anime and talking more about anime, I will go more into why I think Destiny is arguably one of the worst things to happen to Mobile Suit Gundam, next to SD Gundam. Those who watched Toonami during the latter part of its years, and when it first aired, it started showing SD Gundam, and it was weird, and it wasn't particularly good either. But I'm, like I said, huge Gundam Wing fan, and whenever I saw this, I originally thought, oh, okay, so this is a continuation of what happened after Endless Waltz. That's actually interesting. I'd be curious about it. No, not at all. This is pretty much a retelling of the original story of Gundam Wing, the New Era Gundam Wing as it's called, with some of the additions that Endless Waltz introduced. And also, it's supposed to be closer to that of a carryover from Episode 0. Those who got Episode 0 way back when, I in fact still have my original copy I bought back in 2001, 2002 when it first came out here. I don't know, it's a well over 10-year-old book at this point. Those who originally read it got to be introduced to a really, really good backstory to the 5 Gundam pilots. Though, of course, 2 of them, it's not their real names. One, of course, being Hiro Yui, the main star of Gundam Wing in a way. No one being Charles Barton. Strange enough, 2 pilots who that is not truly their names. And they also happen to be very silent, for lack of a better term. Quattro, Catro also is how sometimes pronounced. It just depends upon how somebody feels like pronouncing his name. Duo Maxwell, who, of course, like any American, he's our favorite. He's crazy, but he's lovable and he's goofy. He reminds me a lot of Edward Ulrich, which is probably the reason why I love Fullmetal Alchemist so much, because I see them as very good parallels to each other in terms of their attitudes at times. Though Duo doesn't get mad because people call him short. And then, of course, the last one, Wu Fang, and who I think was always the lesser of all the five. Like, there was always those five that we focused a lot on. Wu Fang always felt like the weakest out of them all in terms of character development, in terms of characterization, everything. And that isn't to say that Gundam Wing doesn't have a lot of character, a lot of heart and everything. It does. It has a ton of it. And to be fair, I will say that this actually includes a ton of great character bits, especially with Duo and Hero. Troa, Quattro, and, Wu Fang are in it, but they're just that. They're just happen to be in it. Though, like I said, this is actually a retread of the original series. The first... Sorry, I was Facebook signing to get its opinion. I should have muted my phone. To be fair... Sorry, I'm muting it real quick now. To be fair, the first 4 or 5 episodes, which is covering... Mind you, it's been a little bit since I've read or I've watched Gundam Wing. Mostly the focus was on Hero and Duo and their kind of interactions with each other. Wu Fang, Troa, and Quattro just kind of were there in the background, though they got a lot more screen time later on. So that's the reason why, as you can see in the front cover, who we have front and center, Hero, Duo, and of course Gundam Wing. And I will say they actually change up how the Gundams look a little bit. Like, Wing Gundam looks pretty similar to how he did from the original anime. Then there's Death Sights, which actually looks vastly different. It doesn't help that, again, this is black and white art, and also this is after the fact, but I will say that much. This is actually a beautiful looking book. Those who enjoyed the original Gundam Wing and were wondering, hey, what would it look like with, slightly up-resed or better drawn pictures nowadays, it looks fantastic. Wish I could show y'all a really good picture of, Death Sights. That way y'all could get a good sense of it. Maybe it's because, again, like I said, this is black and white, and you can't have so much negative with Death Sights because most of his torso and everything's black. Maybe that's the reason why it's kind of hard to get that he's a similar unit in a way, or similar to the original design. It's not bad, it's just different, if y'all get what I'm saying. Then there's very similar story stuff, though it does have more of the character bits. But that being said, if you are not a Gundam Wing fan, if you are not a Mobile Suit Gundam fan and are willing to accept how it's kind of breakneck pace can be sometimes, I'm not sure this book is going to be for anybody like that is outside of those realms. You would have to be a huge Gundam Wing fan or somebody who loves Mobile Suit Gundam and is willing to read any and everything they have, because this book can be very, very confusing. Like I said, I haven't watched Gundam Wing in a while. I do actually own most of Gundam Wing. I need to get like a few more of the volumes way back when, because I'm almost bound in terms, like, I'm not buying the whole set, even though I'm about to buy it just Blu-ray, so I'm like, screw it. But it feels like certain little bits of parts of the story are rearranged and replaced in certain ways, and I don't mind the fact that they kind of sped up Hero's introduction into the school and talking to Relena at the beginning of the original Gundam story, and kind of cutting out some of Relena's little bit of childishness. But at the same time, it feels like it's the sake of just to have action, because there's a lot of action in this book, and I will say that much. You can't say that this is bereft of any kind of action. I mean, they're near the final 30, 40 pages, it's almost nothing but an action sequence. And it's the one that you really get the big gist of Troa showing off how he can be kind of awesome. But that kind of does leave you unable to recommend this for anybody who wants to jump into Gundam Wing. Like, if anybody would ask me, it's like, hey, can I read this and then go to Gundam Wing? I would say no. That's the thing. It's way too convoluted, and it does require you to know some about Gundam Wing so you can understand why certain things are said and why they're actually important. that's a problem. You can't always have a book that is so much of a fan service. I mean, that's what this really is. It's just a fan servicey book. And I mean, for me as a fan, it's great. But you can't have that and expect it to be a huge hit. I don't think they expected it to be something big. We just literally it's supposed to be fan service. But it does feel kind of awkward at times. You're like, okay, why don't we have more stuff here? Because by the end of it, I'm gonna still probably buy a few of these if I can find some more. Like I only found one. Literally, I just found volume 1. I will get a few more, but if they're gonna pretty much just be a massive retread of the original series with little deviation, little major amendments in any way. Like the only major amendment was some of the stuff from Endless Waltz was added to the beginning of this book because it's supposed to lead into the Operation Meteor, which is the beginning of the first, or beginning of the show. In fact, I want to say it's the name of the first episode, where the Gundams are descending upon Earth and all that. But yeah, that's the only big problem is I can't recommend this to people who are not fans already. If you are a fan, I would say you would be, you would be kind of remiss to get this because it is beautiful to look at them redoing some of the old mechas, especially since, let's admit it, Gundam fans, they don't make many Gundam mangas. The first one in a long time, I think, was Thunderbolt. There was one I really enjoy. I still have my copies. Mobile Suit Gundam: The Lost Warp Chronicles, which ended with Volume 2, and it really felt like there was going to be a third volume at the very least. And it's like, why is there not a third volume? And it's got some great character bits, great action, great mechs here and there, and just damn fun stuff happening. But we don't get many of these. Like, I saw Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, just let you know, I'm going to cut out screen. Yeah, I got to. I saw that and I'm like, alright, I'm getting it. Even though I've heard some people say it's not that great. In fact, it's kind of zany. But I don't mind zany. Zany's fine for me. So, we'll see how it goes. I will eventually get around to Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, probably rather quickly. Like I did say, I do have Naruto Volume 1. I'm waiting to read it. It's not part of a compilation, even though I found the compilation for about the same price I paid for this. I'm like, shit. That's my own stupid fault, though. But if I can get around to reading some of these, they'll just keep coming out. And I just don't want to bog them too much or give y'all too much manga. Just because if I do that, I will never finish Daughter Smoking Bone. And I really enjoyed Daughter Smoking Bone. So, we'll see how everything all works out. It might be Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. I might decide to go to something a little different. Because I actually bought a lot of manga over the past, month. So I have a lot to go with. In fact, I might eventually one day, whenever I get them all set up better, I'll show you my little manga collection. And I might eventually donate them to a, pretty much like either a children's hospital would be a good idea. Just to, because those kids would have something to be able to read. Or donate to like a library or something like that. Just so that way we can give it to more kids. Because I know libraries, shit's always stolen. Yeah, we'll see how it all comes across, and I can keep talking about the stuff I really love. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Endless Waltz Glory of the Losers, which I have to actually read it because it doesn't fit in my brain. Like I said, great for the Gundam fans, especially the Gundam Wing fans. Not very good for people who are trying to get into Mobile Suit Gundam. But hey, you can try if you want to. But don't say I didn't warn you. And so, yeah. Awesome looking book. Story's a little half-assed. So we'll see next week, maybe, or next week. Maybe it might be next week. We'll see how everything all plays out. I might decide to read a manga over the weekend. And while I'm, working on Daughter Smoking Bone, and getting through that real quickly. Because, like I said, I'm enjoying the hell out of the book. And don't worry, y'all. There will be Sunday Fundays as well. Those who are Sunday Funday watchers, I guess I'll watch this because he put this out as well. There will be a new Sunday Funday this weekend because there's extra stuff that comes out this weekend. What it is, I can't remember, but I know that I talked about it originally, and it will be that. Whatever it was I said it was going to be. So yeah, I will talk with y'all later and see you with the next manga or maybe a book review. We'll see how it all works out. So, bye-bye, everybody.